Annyeonghaseyo. My name is Lee, and welcome to the first Fightstyle Halloween special. Do you like my bowl of white belts? It's scary, because you're only a white belt once. It's so pure, so new, so exciting. Not knowing how hard it literally is to become a black belt. Now then, my little tiny tigers, let's get into the story at hand today. And let's dive into this martial arts theory. Today's episode is called Dead Man Dan. I know what some of you are thinking.
I just googled Dead Man Dan, and then I looked up images to see what I'd find. And I found this.
Your poetry will now be written with blood, quoted by nobody.
Lee, what are you getting us into?
And to that I say, calm down, little spirit. But to some did you know gamers out there, you may already know the answer to why the episode is named this way. Dead Man Dan was the name of the game before they changed it to Medievil. Oh! Quiet! I'm talking. Now, I won't keep you waiting any longer. Let's get into the tale of Dead Man Dan. Who is Dead Man Dan, you ask? Scary thing is, a lot of you out there already know who he is, but choose not to remember him, because who remember a false hero? Sir Daniel Fortescue, a PlayStation 1 character from the late 1990s that has a skeleton warrior set in the year 1286. With a game that was inspired by Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, which, let me say, as a youngling, I wasn't a fan of the way he looks. Now, before I continue with this review, you must know that there are spoilers waiting just around the corner. It's not too bad, but to get a full idea of my Fightstyle analysis, you have to hear the full story. This tale begins with our protagonist, Sir Daniel, in a war, where we can see that he was slain or has fallen. At his burial, it was told that he was a great warrior who went into battle to stop the evil necromancer, Zorak, from raising the dead in order to take over the kingdom. He was able to kill Zorak, but succumbed to his wounds from battle and died. But that's not at all true. You know, being from my childhood, I hope I was pronouncing that correctly. Zorak. I really want it to be Zorak and not Zorak. In the very beginning of the game, the little statue on the wall kind of hints to the player that you have something to prove in order to get into the Hall of Heroes. As a player, you would think that the thing you have to prove is to finish off Zorak, because he somehow survived your heroic onslaught onto his face. So we, as the gamer, have to guide this undead hero back to Zorak and gain our entry into the Hall of Heroes. Oh, I didn't say how he came back to life. Well, that's a long story that can be easily explained by saying Zorak brought him back. And now that I've said it, it does seem a little dense and uninteresting. Zorak didn't die. He fled the war, decided 100 years of hiding was enough, so he came back and used his super necromancer powers to bring back all the dead in order to take over the land of the living. But, oh no, Zorak. You need to learn how to control your amazing power because you used the same spell to bring back Sir Daniel.
Someone should have told him to check the range on his AoE before he cast it. Am I right?
So we explore the game in search of a way to Zorak. But hidden in every level is a golden chalice. Now, these are important because it helps with what I think is my true conclusion of the Fightstyle episode. You see, if you do not get these items and you clear a level, you're open to the next area. No problem, right? Wrong. Because if you do manage to get one and you exit the level, you're welcome to the Hall of Heroes, where the heroes are waiting for you in order to give you something that will help you along in your quest to join them in the same resting place of brave and courageous souls. But every time you come up to a statue, it seems like they also don't believe in him as well. Like he really has something to prove. Not only that, if you notice, there's a statue of Sir Daniel as well. It kind of has an opacity of 50% at the moment, if you know what I mean. Now, let's see if he can prove to us his fighting style. Now, in the very beginning, you have nothing as your weapon, nothing to call your own. But he is given two weapons, throwing knife and a broadsword.
Cloud Strife. Musashi? No. Let me get off those ideas because here's the real problem. Yes, I could find something to do with these two weapons alone. However, there are two key facts that make it very unsettling for me to make a 100% conclusion on what his fight style could be. One, the way he uses his sword. And two, the number of weapons that he actually uses.
Unlike games like Zelda, where the hero has a large array of weapons to their disposal, they also have one default weapon that they can call their own, like Link's sword and shield. As you can tell, he swings his sword in a very random way. So random that I've been playing this for years and I still don't know how he's going to slash or swipe, and it kills me when he doesn't do what I want. Even his Legend of Zelda spin isn't done the same way. His legs stay in place as his torso spins. His torso spins. His spine isn't really connected. He has been dead for 100 years. He has no real form at all. At all. It's not like Goku's wild fighting in Dragon Ball. In Dragon Ball, Goku fought very wildly, no real sense of patterns, but Goku had form. Goku also had understanding on how his body moves, how it works, and reacts to certain occasions. This guy fights with no pattern, no form, and no sense of how his body moves. I know he has been dead for 100 years, but he wasn't good even when he was alive either. And I'll get into that later. And the second fact, the fact that he really isn't just a swordsman. I can't give him the title swordsman because not only does he have a sword, but he has an axe, a hammer, a bow, and not just a normal bow, a fire bow, a longbow, a crossbow, just to name a few. A club, throwing knives, chicken drumstick, A chicken drumstick. No joke, for real. It was a chicken drumstick. I kept it because I thought it was going to be a secret. It wasn't a secret at all. In fact, it was a large waste of my time. Back to scary stuff. Spears. Magic items such as a magic sword, shield, and lightning. I have been planning this episode for a very long time now. Since May. And it's now October. I have been wrapping my head around what it could have been for a long time now. And I now know what he has that we can all have as well. Because Fightstyle is all about trying to obtain something that the video game character has and try to connect it to ourselves. So, what can it be? What he has?
Dedication! It's dedication. The drive to never give up. Always finishing what he starts.
Because the truth is, he didn't die from succumbing to his wounds in battle. He died in the very beginning of the war. And when I say the beginning, I mean the very beginning. Because what occurred that day was when the first arrow was fired in war, he received it in his face. Well, in the eye, to be more specific. I guess it's probably safe to say that we all know he saw it coming. Too soon? It's been 100 years. No, still too soon? To be more specific, from his year 1286, it'd be almost 700 plus years, so there's enough time to make fun of him now. So, with not being the real hero that the kingdom deserved, nor being unable to live up to the expectations of the king, he was given a second chance to really take down Zorak this time. He didn't pass up this chance. So with him being even more clumsy as the walking dead than he was as the living, he must overcome so much in order to reach his goal. It's not really a martial art, I know, but it does pertain to it. In the world of the martial artists, it's not only about fighting, the contact to your enemy, but your mental strength. Have you ever heard? To be a great martial artist, you must have mind, body as one. If your mind and body are not one, you will not have true clarity. You can ask Captain Ginyu about that one. He couldn't control Goku's body, couldn't get the true potential out because his mind wasn't one with the body. Now, to get off topic for a second, I do know I make a lot of references to Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball a lot, but there was no other situation I could do, body swap. Where you want me to bring up Freaky Friday? I'm not bringing that movie up, even though I watched it way too many times as a kid. Who's watched Freaky Friday? Raise your hand. Freaky Friday's a good movie. It's okay.
Halloween is a very spiritual time. You, as a martial artist, must learn to become three things: spiritual, physical, and mental. This episode is about mental. You see, if you have a poor mental, you won't get past the white belt. And you damn sure won't make it to the black belt. Your only doom is to be like me here, looking at my tombstone, waiting for death to come. Or you could have dedication. You could have dedication. With dedication, you can make it. And you won't be sitting here with your tombstone. You'll be surrounded with success and trophies because you have strong
mental. Dobayo, everyone. See you next year.